executive.
I make a motion to go back in.
Yes, I did.
6:25.
Second that. Got a motion and a second to come back into regular session. Any discussion from the board? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Righto. Next up, board vacancy appointment.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Benito Maya, please.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. Discussion from the board. All in favor of appointing?
We just want to encourage you, young lady, to run this fall, and Benito, we hope you stay on.
Run as well.
Both of you need to run.
Yes.
Please.
Thank you for your interest as well. We really appreciate it. Kids are worth it.
Anything else from the board?
By August 26th.
August
Yeah.
26th.
Oh, yeah.
When does it start?
August
It's open now.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
August.
open now.
It's open.
It's
Great.
open now. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
It's open.
We need to put the
The county office until the 26th.
5 o'clock.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same thing. Thank you.
Congratulations, and come take a seat.
Benito, if you want to come in.
You have to stand on your legs.
Okay.
I can't.
Go join me up here.
You might need your picker.
Yeah, grab that one. I'll get mine. I don't either. Okay. I state your name.
I, Benito Maya,
Do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the state of Wyoming, and the Johnson County School District No. 1 policies,
the state of Wyoming, and the Johnson County School District No. 1 policies,
that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity,
that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity,
that I have not knowingly violated any law of the state of Wyoming
that I have not knowingly violated any law of the state of Wyoming
relating to my election or appointment,
relating to my election or appointment,
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others,
and that I will faithfully execute the duties of my office as a member of the governing body to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully execute the duties of my office as a member of the governing body to the best of my ability.
Thank you, sir.
Just for the record, I'd like to thank Randy Brown for his years of service.
Yes, good call.
Is this where you tell Mr. Maya all the committees we assign him to?
Congratulations.
Just the ones that meet 10 times a day.
Okay, perfect.
It's only 5 committees you're on. Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, policy revision. We got second readings coming. And this is policies, all of the A section, B section, and C section, excluding CKA and CM, if I have gotten those correctly.
So I'll make a motion to approve the Wyoming School Board policies that they have gone over in section A, B, and C as listed, excluding CKA and CM.
Which is one, yeah, exclude those other three, so make sure we exclude those.
Oh, you said.
The same.
Second?
Okay. Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve sections A, B, C, with the exclusion stated. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
So Travis is the chair, so Benito, as you're going through this, there will be an onboarding process. We'll talk about some of these things and all these policies, so we'll get you in and we'll talk about kind of where we're headed with these policies.
Okay.
And we should have pointed out earlier, I was remiss. You don't have to vote on anything that you feel like you need more information or whatever, but you are of course entitled to do so.
Yeah, I went through.
Okay. All right, and then finally, we've got policy file KB, parental rights. This is the new one in response to state law that changed last year.
Is this one, again, you said it before, written by the
Wyoming School Board Association.
Yes, and Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been reviewed pretty thoroughly by legal counsel as well. Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve policy KB, parental rights, as in our final reading.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Catch all three.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we're going to the weight equipment bid. On the weight equipment bid, we had the summary and the recommendation. Oh, got the wrong file.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I make a motion to approve the weight equipment bid awarded to the Buffalo Athletic Club, Tucker Alger,
as presented.
as presented.
Perfect.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to award the athletic equipment bid to Buffalo Athletic Club and Tucker Alger. Discussion from the board.
So discussion for me, and Tucker, you can answer these, but
Yeah.
our fiduciary duty lies with Johns County School District number 1. And so when we get a cash bid, I feel like that can help pay for the other equipment. Other things are, I'm concerned about us sending kids down there. Do the people that are at the club, do they have background checks like everybody at the high school would?
So that's, I mean, the members I don't dig into, but I don't have any employees that work for me. So, but I don't run background checks at the.
And I understand that. So, and I've never been to your club. I hear great things about it, but I was curious. So you don't have employees that are there?
No,
to help?
I'm the only employee, me and Haley. Yeah. So
Okay.
we run this. We got a pretty smooth operation so far to where we check laundry. I'm down there 3 times a day. Morning at 6 usually, and then I go in about 1, and then usually 12 o'clock at night. Just check on making everything. And we have camera systems too. So, and the PD has a contract with me too. So they use the facility, all the PD officers, they get an hour allotment at nighttime. So that's the hours that I would worry about more or less, at nighttime for ladies or whatnot. But usually there's PD officers down there. They come in right on duty and just take off their kits, their plate carriers and their belts and leave that stuff in the corner and do their workouts. But it's full surveillance 24/7, goes to a cloud. I've never, knock on wood,
Yeah,
I've never had any problems and never had anybody get hurt. It's always been, it's been amazing. It's beautiful. And I kind of want to throw my 2 cents in just to let you guys know where I'm coming from. I have a lot of members, a lot of kids and families. I think 70 some right now, and these are some of the names, and then some have like the families. They have 2, 4. But I wanted to tap into the market of the kids, parents that don't have money. That's the 10 for the 10 kids a year for the rest of my life, because I think that Buffalo is a great town, but there's not a lot for the kids to do. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, but it's not always the right thing. So that gives them a spot to go 24/7, 365. The Y is closed every once in a while. The high school, usually people have to be in there to train, right? So they don't get hurt. Insurance purposes, I have insurance, carry insurance, I have the whole life, $2 million umbrella policy. Excuse me. But I want to have an outlet for the kids that don't have.
Not to interrupt, but this is only for 10 kids.
A year, 10 kids a year, and then for the rest of my life. So they'll get 4 years. 10 kids will get 4 years of membership each year. It's like a kind of like a program, I guess, and they can write and say, I want to work out here and I want to do this because I either don't have funds or my family's not, can't pay for this. And I really am interested in sports and I want to do this career or whatever. And I want to be there to help them, meet their goals and aspirations and their dreams. And so I think it'd be cool if we could get, some more kids in there that can't afford it. Because I know a lot of people can, some parents can't, that's a good thing. It's great. but the less fortunate kids, I'd like to be able to help out, and give back to the community and the town, and then the teachers, and the staff. I think that'd be if they want to utilize it too, that'd be a good thing.
Charles, do you have a process in place that you're gonna determine who would get these?
So, I mean, we're gonna have to put one in place with approval tonight, then how we select, is, okay, so first of all, who's interested, if we have more positions, what that selection process would be, but yeah, we as a district will put something in place on how to get kids and staff.
I've already created a Google form for that can go out at a specific time each year. Anyone interested can apply for it. If we have more, we'll do a random draw. If someone from the year before didn't get it, we'll give them preference points for the next year. So that's in place. The paperwork trail on who gets it has yet to be set up. However, Google Forms actually generates a spreadsheet of your answers. So if you fill out the form, put it on the sheet, so it's a start to a paper trail. And we've yet to set one up for the kids, but that's easy enough to do.
That's just,
I was just gonna say, I imagine that we would probably easily have 12 employees and 10 kids interested. If we did have less than 12 adults interested, could we give, say we had 10, could we give those other 2 spots
You bet.
to a couple more kids?
Yeah, because like I said, I really want it for the kids, because that's what makes this future go around. That's going to be taking care of us when we're old, pooping our pants. You know what I mean? And so I want the kids to be able to thrive and have every opportunity they can. Because some are less fortunate. So but I really want it. So if you want to do that, if there's not enough staff or administration that wants to, we can substitute kids, because that'd be great. That'd be perfect.
I probably know the answer to this, Mr. Oskey, but once we turn this equipment over to whomever, if we have a person get hurt on this equipment, we're done liability-wise, correct? Because we have sold or whatever.
It's his equipment, his liability, his business.
Okay, so in the other thing, maybe, who's going to teach these kids how to use this?
So we can have an instructor down there. I can go down there and when we get the kids signed up, we can go through all the equipment. That's what my plan anyways. I wanted to go in and show them each piece of equipment, what muscle groups they work, what they do, how to use them, and if they have any questions. I wanted to try to set it up to where we all at once, and then everybody be like, well, what if it is, what if, and usually they show, I think, they show under the
Yes,
rough,
how to do it. Yeah.
a rough, but like I said, that's kind of, but I wanted to show the kids, personally show them and say, hey, I don't want you, keep your core tight because you don't want back issues, and do it the right way so we don't injure
And our
kids.
liability is ended and it's your liability.
Yeah, my insurance will cover one. It should, once the documentation goes through and we sign off. Legality from releases from you, it should.
Jay, do you feel like, and I hate to bring the public in, but do you feel like there's kids that are missing out because they don't want to work out at the high school, or is it the hours of operation?
Can I reword your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like the words "don't want to work out in high school." We have a limited opportunity on when we have the gym available. It's during classes. Sometimes in the mornings, if some of us are there, because we have to staff it. Practices after school, which is coaches' responsibilities, and they sign up for the weight room. So actually, the time that our weight room is open is extremely limited due to supply and supervision. So this would give a pretty good outlet for kids to go use his whole facility, which would include these machines as well as what he has already. So to answer your question, I honestly don't know, but I would say opportunity has a lot to do with that due to supervision, and we have to have people staffing that room, and we don't have the budget for that.
So Tucker, didn't you say you have 90 people, 90 families, or
71.
71?
Well, that's including families and kids, like 71, kids that utilize already. Not family plans, and that's not yearly. That's month to month, so they come and go when it works for their schedule. Best for their schedule.
So I got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Is it strictly for high school students only?
So it was going to be strictly for the high school,
Okay.
and then the administrative staff. But we could look into. I guess we could always look down a different route. Depending on how fast you guys want to get everything dialed in, set in stone, T's crossed, I's dotted. But we could look into different. Yeah.
So my other question is, and maybe this is more what I think Dave may have been asking, is And I know we can only assume or guess on how many kids, students at the high school would actually utilize that new workout, that would go workout, and utilize it after school and after their extracurricular activities. And I realize I'm all about kids having more to do, healthy things to do. I also know the students in that high school are the ones that are in extracurricular activities and school are going from a lot of times 6 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Yep.
Like nonstop, and the time to go to a gym is minimal. So I mean, my question, I guess, Jay, is, or anybody that either Mr. O here, what do you think the percentages of students that would actually put their name in and want to do this outside of, I mean, having the time to go and do it outside of school and extracurricular activities? We have a large majority of kids in extracurricular activities in our high school too.
We
So
do.
I just wonder,
But remember, they're not all 3 sport athletes either, right? So there's a lot. I mean, we have a lot of kids with off season, and I don't know how many of those will take advantage of it, right? But
I
we
would
have a lot of
imagine
kids.
Jackson Betterton, Wyatt Waller, Cam Johnson, Caleb Spangler, Brody Bernard, Carson.
Hey, hold on, we can't be reading that student name.
Sorry. Gotcha. So
There's families on.
there is, and if you want me to share this with you, we can. This is the kids that.
That's why I brought that just to shake it up. I didn't want to go up.
So I have to say, like for an example, Jody, I was that kid they're talking about because I have no athletic ability. I mean, if someone throws a basketball at me, I'm going to duck as fast as possible instead of reach out and catch it. So I was the kid that still wanted to be fit and wanted to work out independently in a different environment than all the athletes. And so I mean, I think there's a lot of different niches. It may not be the majority, but I think for some kids it might be an awesome mental health outlet.
Dr. Hanson.
Well, I know I was just going to add, Mr. Chair, that several New West students, just during the course of last year, frequented the BAC. So, in terms of how many students might be interested, my guess would be at least a handful of New West students. So, in terms of reaching the students that Tucker is thinking about, I would feel confident in vouching that we'd have some interest from New West students.
And Jody, I was going to tell you, I had, so the specialty sports like lacrosse, I made a deal with Jeff Shelley and had them, I think 5 or 6, five kids come in for the time they didn't, they had their off season or whatever they wanted to train. And then for the soccer too, Dick Edgecombe got a hold of me. I made a deal where they had a couple weeks where they had a trainer or something. And I was trying to help them so they wouldn't have to miss practice and wouldn't have to, because when you're playing the competitive level, you want to be, top tier, and you don't want to miss a day because that can cause a week of catch up. So I tried, like I said, I firmly believe that we have a good amount of kids that will utilize it. That's just me saying I can't promise you, but I firmly believe from what I see, and I've had it for 10. This will be my 11th year now next year, and I've had a lot of kids that love to come down. I think it's because they feel like they have a private club to go to and it gives them a purpose. And it's just cool to see them. They all have the camaraderie, the banter. I mean, it's cool to see the kids down there and really being themselves and finding out their strengths and agility and weaknesses. It's just it's a cool thing. So, but I wanted to give that 2 cents too, just so you have information and facts. And I'd like to know.
So just a data point, just adding up. So if you took Buffalo High School, just say 325, you took 240, 250 employees classified and certified. You add New West into there. You add KC. If any KC people want to come up or be a part of it, you're talking well over 600 people that would have an opportunity for 20 positions. So it might be maybe not enough. So just pointing that out, I mean, the pool that we're going to be pulling from is a fairly large pool for that 20 positions.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion from the board? Okay. All in favor of awarding it to this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
I am. I think cash is king. I hate to get into a 10-year contract. I love what you're doing, but like I say, for me, I want to clean the books up and not extend the contract. So
No, I
any,
did- I did-
congratulations, Tucker.
Well, thank you.
Nothing against
No,
you
no, no,
personally, I just,
No, I mean,
cash just
business,
came for me.
business is business, I get it. Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's what works on paper, and so I get it. So, no.
I hope it works out well.
Yeah, no hard feelings at all. Thank you guys.
Thanks. All right, next up, we've got early graduation requests. Intent to approve, look at.
So, Mr. Chair, would you like to approve these one at a time?
Yeah.
Or you can both take them?
So Mr. Chairman, I'd like for you to approve one at a time, because they're two different approvals.
Yeah, we need to do so, because they're from different schools, they have different graduating requirements. So, that's right, the school.
So I'll make a motion to approve the young man that goes to New West High School for early graduation.
Based on the confirmation of all the graduation requirements have been met, as recommended by Dr. Hanson and approved by Superintendent Oski. Does anybody have discussion on this one?
I do have discussion, so we don't want to use their names, but in the past, the people would actually be here and we would congratulate them and we could use their names. So is there a reason we can't, Charles?
I guess this is where we're cheating on the new parental rights and what we're educating, we're telling, but there's also some things I think we need to clarify with our graduation policy requirements. So you are correct, they came in, this is something that was done over the summer. And I guess just a real clarification of what we're putting out in public and not putting out in public, and for the reasons why, especially with the next one, the intent, but yeah, I mean, we have, and that's what you've done before in the past, and if they, Dr. Hanson or the one is not here, the intent is not, they are not going to be ready or meet all requirements till December, so that's a different story. So these are two different scenarios and events. So. But if you would like them to be in front of you as a board of trustees in the future, we could make that point, and I'll let administration know that.
Well, I think that would be their discretion.
I think these are two of the earliest, usually we get them around November, December.
We do second semester.
That's when they typically would come to us.
So Casey and Buffalo High School have different rules in the board policy, and Midwest is when they've met requirements. So they two different forms of graduation, and so there are some things there just to be very clear with you as the board of trustees. The policy does read different for Casey and Buffalo High School compared to Midwest.
Okay, other discussion on approving the New West early graduation request? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, next
Wish them
up.
well for us, Dr.
Yes,
Wish
I
them
will.
well. Wish
Thank
them
you.
well.
Next up, I would entertain a motion to approve the intent to grant early graduation for a KC student. It will happen in December, pending confirmation that all graduation requirements have been met. And we get a recommendation from Mr. Evans, received by the admin, and Superintendent Oski proves that at that time. So an intent to approve pending completion.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion on this one. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. Next up, contract service agreements. Everybody's had a chance to read through these.
So, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the contracts for the special education students for their IEPs.
Okay. I've got a motion on the floor. Can I get a second? Motion and a second. Discussion.
So is it all of these listed?
Correct.
Yep.
So we don't have to vote on each one of them separately, right?
Correct.
So this is,
The motion is to approve them all in one slate.
and they're ones that are in their IEPs and this. Okay, thank you.
Can I,
Please.
I don't think there's any of them up there that aren't tied to somebody's IEP, so I guess I'm not sure why that needs to be part of it, but maybe it does. So,
And,
all of them
Mr.
are,
Anderson, that's
all of
just,
them are related services that are required as part of an IEP, so it's kind of a
That's the way
given.
the recommendation came to us.
Okay. Any further discussion? All opposed, all in favor of approving, or tongue slip, signify by saying aye. Aye. Now all opposed, same side. Thank you. Okay. Next up, new substitute salary schedule. This one work session up and running.
I make a motion to accept the new substitute salary, schedule for a full day of 136, half day of, $68.
Second.
What's that? 24-25, excuse me, for the school year 24-25, excuse me.
Perfect. So we got a motion and a second. Discussion.
Yes, sir.
Connie has this question.
There's more than one salary schedule on here. There's supposed to be three, she just read the one, so I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Oh, I'm
We're
sorry.
approving all of these.
So we need to amend the
We'd like to
motion.
amend the motion to include the full presented salary schedule.
My fault.
Say substitute salary schedule for 25, would that cover all three?
As
Perfect.
presented, that is.
Do you accept the amendment to your motion?
Yes.
Did you get that, Heidi?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the whole presented salary schedule. Further discussion on this one?
And so just so the public knows, Connie said there's three of them. So one of them is for the teacher substitutes, one of them is for classified substitute salary, and one of them is in-house teacher substitutes.
Sure.
Just to be clear.
Additional discussion? All in favor of approving the salary schedule as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Right up. Budget amendment. We got a pretty good lesson on this at the work session as well. Budget amendment. Can I get a motion? So it was a special session, you're quite correct.
I'm making a motion to approve budget amendment for the 2024 budget.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion from the board on the budget amendment.
So this is amending the 2024 budget, 23-24 budget. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hearing none. All in favor of approving the budget amendment as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay. On a roll. Staff incentive. I would entertain a motion regarding the staff incentive as proposed and presented.
I'd make a motion to approve the staff incentive as presented by our business manager.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
I feel like we kind of need to go through this for our public to listen.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we are proposing that we give a $2,000 bonus. That would
Incentive.
Incentive.
To any returning employee who works at least half time, and we don't have anybody on the books that works less than half time. So all employees, returning employees, will receive a $2,000 net. So if that incorporates to about a $2,700 gross. So, and then for any new employee hired between that begins work between July 1st and October 1st. Even though we may have hired them in May, they're still considered a new employee, and we will do a net of $500 for all new employees that are returning, or not returning, that are coming to work for us.
So again, can you explain that this is net?
Yes, they will see a $2,000 net.
We're able to cover the taxes entirely for this.
Yes, we are
Incentive.
covering their FIT, our FICA, and their FICA. So we're covering.
And I believe, Connie, you said you based that on a 22% tax rate.
FIT tax rate.
And the funds that we are using?
Are the ESSER funds that we downloaded using 2021 funds.
And this will be a one-time.
It's very one time. It will not happen again. We're excited though. And the check will go out anywhere between September 1st and October 1st. We gotta get everything back. We've got weddings and everything's happening.
Lots of things.
In my office, yeah.
To my mind, this is sort of the equivalent of a private employee and a profit sharing. This is, everybody rode a tough storm last year as we went from recapture to title to recapture to entitle 3 times. So anyway, for the people that stuck it out, had faith and stayed with us even when it got wild, this is our thank you. We had great management, really well done by the admin team here. So this is our way of saying thanks for braving it out and standing fast.
Can I add to that, Travis? It's also the work that's already been started with the initiative. So the work that the admin, the buildings have done with reduction in force by attrition. So part of that process is we've already started implementing some of that. So we'll work to our administrative team with some of that.
And Mr. Chair, one of the other things I'd like to state is I'm glad that we're giving this across the board from a janitor to the superintendent, because like I say, we're all a team and it takes everybody to educate children.
And it's a good use of our ESSER funds.
Other discussion, comment from the board?
Well, we're keeping the meeting to 45 minutes, so anybody wants more details, that 3-hour discussion can happen
We can take that on another time.
Well, we had that
Because
4-hour discussion in the special
It
session.
is not that simple, but we're gonna make it simple.
I think we did that last Wednesday and all 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor of approving the fall initiative as presented, signify by saying aye. Incentive, sorry, initiative, I got my word backward. Signify by saying aye. Aye.
We were just looking for you to say bonus, Travis.
Wait for me to trip over it too.
I'll jump down.
All opposed, same sign. Jen's gonna stab me, I'm not saying. Okay,
Yay, thank you.
that was easy, done.
Thank you, Donnie.
Okay, next up, we had a cell phone protocol. Been a lot of news regarding schools going cell phone free, so,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I make a motion to direct the administration to create a cell phone protocol.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Further discussion on the cell phone protocol?
Okay, so we're not accepting this.
No, this is just information.
Okay, I was like going, whoa.
So you as a board of trustees, that's what's in front of you, so you know what the challenges are. So I showed you what currently is already in schools, because a lot of people don't feel that there's cell phone policies in school. I've also included what tech helps support with what we're doing with Chromebooks. So I just want you to be informed. That's the stuff we'll take to admin and move forward. So that document there is only all the information that's related to the decision that will eventually come to the table.
And Charles, what I read was, it's not only gonna be admin that's gonna develop this, but you're gonna get input from stakeholders, parents, staff. You're gonna try to.
We're gonna gather as an admin team tomorrow morning, and we're gonna start that journey and get more of a long piece of it.
And that'll be good.
That might be the first thing on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, please.
so do you know already how you would gather input from all the various stakeholders? No, okay, to be determined. Okay.
But we need to get students, we need to get parents, and we need to, so here's my, and I've told Travis this as a chair, and I'll just speak publicly about it. We gotta slow the train down. Because what's happening out there is, in my personal opinion, is a knee-jerk reaction to some of the things that are out there. And more importantly, whatever we create, we gotta be able to model. All right, and that includes from us as a board of trustees, me as a superintendent, and have some verbiage. We got a gentleman by the name of Mr. Hanson, Dr. Hanson, who's great at wordsmithing and can help us with that process. But what I don't want to create is something that doesn't fit for New West, KC, or BHS, but it has to be consistency. We need consistency district-wide if that's what you're asking. Is that fair?
Yes.
When did the train start? I felt like I missed
We're just about to pull the all aboard.
2 months of meetings or something. It just kind of suddenly appeared last week and.
So
Mr. Chair.
that's a great question.
So in my interpretation, there was a book published late spring, right as we were getting out of school, that just caught fire. It's a professor who has some strong opinions about this and has tied cell phone use to a lot of the negative things that we're seeing with young people right now. And a lot of people in education read this book. And so, right, journalists caught a hold of it too, and so you're seeing it everywhere. So it certainly blew up since, we were all together last, toward the beginning of the summer.
Kristen, to also help that, it was Facebook posts from different schools on what they're doing and putting out that went to parents, and that, I'm assuming maybe some of you were lucky enough not to get that information. But it our schools aren't doing anything. So when I talked with Travis, there's a conversation we need to have, because Facebook elevated it in 2 days. It happened over Johnson County Fair.
So Facebook was already having the conversation and I just missed it. Okay. I was like, I don't know where I was for a couple months.
It's amazing how fast it travels on social media.
Okay.
Fair?
Yes, thank you.
This school district's doing it, this school district's not, and then you get those threads, well, our school doesn't do this, our school doesn't do that. So that information in front of you also is for you as a board of trustees to say, we have already been doing some things. It's just, what does that consistency look like, and come up with something that we can support. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because I do wanna say, Tech has done a great job of protecting our kids on their Chromebooks and things like that, because there was a comment that made, well, kids get to do whatever they want on their Chromebooks. Well, that's a false statement, all right? What we don't control and what we do control is in that document. Each school has been doing things, whether it's Metal-Arc or Cloud Peak, but it's more of a consistency thing and how we promote that out to the community. And I think the bigger thing we need to talk about as an admin team is how do we educate parents? Okay, that's what we need to do. How do we educate parents too on what cell phones and the information that's in this book? So it's not just about creating a set of expectations, it's about how do we educate people so they understand the why. And so understanding the why means we need to educate them, but then we need to model what we expect too. So it's a journey.
Any chance to remember the name of the book?
Yeah, the book's title is The Anxious Generation. Jonathan Haidt, H-A-I-D-T.
I started it this weekend.
This book. That book.
That book.
So if you look online.
It's pretty cheap.
The audiobook's great
I was
too.
gonna say.
Okay, further discussion from the board.
I just want to say that, if you go through this, I think our schools are doing really a good job.
Yeah.
They really are.
Excellent.
And the more you give them, then who's going to enforce all this? Are we going to make the teachers now cell phone police? And I realize that's part of their job, but wow, let's put another thing on their plate. But why not have them just enforce what we have?
Well, I've had a little bit of that. I mean, I've gone back and forth on a lot of thoughts with it. I've had some of that thought too, like, we do have policy. Are we just not following our
Well, it's really not
Like,
policy, it's procedure.
Yeah.
But oh, you're right, procedure. But I was like, each school does have something
Right.
spelled out. It's just a matter of, are we doing it? Are we consistent?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
While I agree with all of that, I think the key thing for me, I've visited this, in my mind for a couple of years. And, one thing that I feel, not that we're lacking, but I think consistency is the key that we need to, and, when we institute something, I feel like it needs to be across the board. And, I think that we have, an administration that, has slowed things down and really tried to come at everything from all angles. And I feel like just about anything that we do, I think it's really important that we have 100% buy-in. We've got to get these parents on board. Like Charles said, we've got to get these students on board. Otherwise, it could be their worst nightmare. But I agree with the point that they're the professionals. They're the educators. They are with those kids all day long. They see what happens, and I'm super excited that we have a team that's going to put them in charge of what they want it to look like and how they're going to make it consistent.
And when you say consistent with that, I don't think you can be consistent because you are dealing with kids ages 5 to 18, and it can't be consistent. There are going to be some variations because you don't treat a first grader like you do a senior in high school. So I don't think you can be consistent.
But it's specific. I mean, just like anything, we can do specific to their age, just like
There you
TAC
go.
1.
So that's what I
TAC
would like.
1,
Consistent.
Look at TAC 1, that was consistent, but they taught their kindergartners different than they did the high school.
And that's what this does. It's consistent to their school.
Okay, then
So that's what I'm saying.
fair enough.
Any additional discussion? All in favor of directing the admin to create the cell phone protocol, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed at the same time.
So, Mr. Chair, while we're having this conversation, the time frame around this is to give you a draft at the next board meeting, or what is your preference?
This to me is very much like eating an elephant. Just one bite at a time, take time to get it correct. So there is no clock, there's no shot clock running. Think this through and come up with the right answer. More important than doing it quickly.
So a monthly update, as long as it's not 5 years from now, completion.
Check. Hey, now we got to the tough stuff. Report time. Who's got questions for district level reports?
Mr. Chairman.
Please.
Mr. Miller, when will the White Top results be published?
Oh, well,
They're probably already out.
which ones are you referring to? The student level, state, or school?
The school level.
School level for the student, or for the school academic reports, or the achievement reports, they're gonna come in later this year. This time last year, we already had them. In fact, I know I saw certain principals going over them during their first faculty meeting. But because of that writing curriculum score being so late, they're still tallying the data. So it might be late September, and that's gonna push everything back as well with their school improvement plans. So I wish it was right now, but unfortunately, September, you won't even get them next board meeting, unfortunately. So.
Because doesn't that help the staff to look to see where they're low and where they're high and what they need to implement?
Absolutely right. In fact, I had a discussion with one of the principals earlier, well, last week, I forget it's Monday. By the time they actually get started on their school improvement plan, if they have to report to the state, it's already October, you're already almost done with first quarter, or halfway through the first semester. It's really hard to change gears or change direction after that. So the timing of this is a little bit off kilter, but we're going to do the best we can. And so already I know our principals have already been thinking since last May what's working, what are some tweaks that we might need to address. It's just the data that's going to confirm that. So, thank you. But you're absolutely right.
Dr. Miller, while you're up, could you tell a little more about the pilot writing curriculum? That sounded really exciting to me and sort of a fun data point to find.
Oh, it's very exciting, and it's actually really a grassroots effort from our experts, the teachers. And I know Maggie's done a lot of this work, so has Carrie Pavey. Our district literacy team identified through our needs assessment that one of our areas of focus should be on writing curriculum and improving student writing. And so we had our teachers look at different possible writing curriculums. And Maggie was spearheading a lot of this with a lot of the team meetings, K through 5. And so we had to go through our Y-Built grant. That's the beauty of this. It's all going to be funded by Y-Built, so it's not going to come from general fund. So we have this year to do that. But once we found our curricular resources that we wanted to pilot, we had to send it to Y-Built to have them approve it. And it took a little while. And again, Maggie saved the day once again, trying to explain to them why this could be a potential fit for us. So we submitted that, and they just approved it, and now we're in the process of ordering it. Now the fun begins, though. This school year, we're going to go ahead and pilot several different writing curriculum. Anything you want to add, Maggie?
No, you summarized that very well. I just was checking in on that document today, though, and noticed that some of them are like they've been ordered, they're going to start showing up, and other ones we've at least contacted vendors and are waiting to hear back. So very excited.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I guess I'd just like to ask our two new principals, doing all right? I mean, you've jumped into the frying pan into the fire.
I watched Fall Guy last night. Have you guys seen that movie, the new one?
What is it?
Fall Guy. Yeah. Oh. And the stuntmen, when they're okay, they just go like this. So Ron went, and that's, yeah, we're okay.
I like that. Stunt people.
You haven't said that school hadn't started yet, but you're okay.
Mr. Anderson, would you give a thumbs up also?
Oh, absolutely. Two.
Good.
So, Mr. Anderson, if I can ask you a question, and I know you're new to the job, but ESY services, there was 50 students identified, but only 43. Is that required through their IEP to do that?
It's a part of their IEP, but parents can always opt out. Okay. So sometimes that you might write that into an IEP, and I'm speaking from experiences of some of the setting a lot of IEPs, so not necessarily a special ed director, but that might get written into an IEP in November. And and then families' plans change come summertime. Typically, if it's a November IEP, we say, let's revisit this in the spring, maybe at parent-teacher conferences, and we'll make a decision then. And even then, yes, some that are on board, they sign up. Yes, even sign up for a bus to pick up the kids, and then kids don't need the bus or whatever. But yeah.
I was curious if it was a requirement.
So I thought 43 out of 50 was a really solid
good.
number.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah.
Anything else? Director level reports.
Just one last, I love the reports of showing us your building, grounds. Sounds good. Casey's looking good.
It's looking really good.
Which leads us right into principal reports. Anybody got anything for principal
I
reports?
thought we were.
It's all good, it's all good.
I'm gonna sneak after. I appreciate you guys so
Thanks,
much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. If you guys need something, let me know. Thank you guys.
Principal reports, anyone?
So, Chairman, I hope you get your bathrooms done. I know that's gonna be an inconvenience. And so, I don't know what the plan is, porta potties.
This is what I would say. We're thrilled that the board recognized that there were some things we can do to our building to improve our students' experience, regardless of where we're at in the process right now. I can assure you that we're going to serve students well. So here in the next day or two, we'll meet with all the new West staff and decide exactly how we're going to move forward. But we're excited to get started.
So just so we're on the same page, that could be bumping them back, doing an alternative schedule, making them on a Friday with some days too before. But again, it's gonna be day by day, and Mike and John are gonna communicate what that looks like. But they will do what's best for the West kids moving forward.
Not for me to say, but they have those trailers now that have complete bathrooms in them. I think Riders have one. That might be something that might work for you really well.
Just to help with that, we gotta have water on and services, so it's not just the bathrooms, it's some of the water too.
Yeah. Other questions for the principals?
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Superintendent report. Any questions for the super? Mr. Superintendent, anything you need to tell us?
Absolutely. So if you look at it, if you haven't had an opportunity to see the two videos, we have 5 things you should be grateful for. Handle hard better video, but more importantly, the thank you. So if you noticed what the Johnson County Health Center team provided for our new teachers, I think that was a pretty amazing piece to introduce our new teachers to our school, which is a great kickoff to new teacher induction today. Didn't think we were going to have enough seats at the Bozeman, but we did. We served close to 48 people. We did a scavenger hunt. I appreciate all the work that Dr. Miller put into that. I think we had a great start, but that scavenger hunt was going around to transportation, to special ed. New West, Mike did a great job with cards, so if you want to do card tricks, you can go to New West and go from there. And then we came by the central office, just giving new staff members an opportunity to see where the different areas are because they hear about them. Our bus driver did a great job of showing us how to key in and where the fueling station was because we have several people that don't know where the fueling station is or to actually how to fuel their vehicles. So it was a good day. And they got a ride on yellow Cadillacs. They got hamburgers at noon. And I think for the most part, they made it back to their buildings on time. So I think it was a great start and it didn't stop today. So back in the buildings tomorrow morning, Dr. Miller is doing some instructional pieces with them tomorrow afternoon, continues through Wednesday. And then the other things I want to kick off, I'm super excited about is, well, first of all, the Don Juliet training is happening right now. It's probably over, barbecue, but it's going. But last night on Sunday night, we probably had close to 25 coaches going through a coach's handbook and started talking about some things there. We had over 40 kids attend a leadership training with Don, a part of that process, educating parents tonight, and then I think basically the parent meetings that we typically have to start the fall. So that was a great kickoff there. And then Thursday morning, I would encourage everybody to come to BHS. There should be plenty of room give. And we want people to come see our guest presenters just like we have every year. And we're gonna talk about mindsets and, changing that attitude of what we do. And he's gonna be working with staff basically all morning. He's gonna work with us as administrators, work with students in the afternoon, and there's a community presentation that night. So all of that is in my board report. So with that being said, last week, administration, we started August 1st. Did HR training, EL training, which I would say every administrator in the building, it was my viewpoint only, oh, this is gonna be a great view of EL is. And when I came out of it, it's like, oh, we got a lot to do. We have an EL audit this year, so that was a great piece. So administration's been training. Now we started with new staff. We'll start with the rest of the teachers, and then we start with kids on Tuesday. I appreciate the flexibility of the admin team. Jen, knock on wood, we're going to be fully staffed on the first day when you ask that. We've had some transitions, but I appreciate what Craig's done. I appreciate what Maggie's done stepping into those positions because there's always some ripples through what we're doing. Ron, I won't reference him as rookie anymore after today. He's really good with that. But we're coming together as a team. And John and the tech crews, they're working hard. And if you went up to the high school and looked at all the construction going on there with New West, he probably hasn't had a call that they're, hey, guess what? This isn't working. So we are moving forward. And every day we're doing something that's going to get the schools open. And no matter what, kids are coming. And we're going to find a way to make sure they're in the buildings. Fair? So great job from the summer crew, tech, facilities, everybody, administration. We'll be ready for kids. But we started August 1st, and it's just building up. And so really encourage everybody, if you don't know what's happening with Don Julian, ask the kids. If you're not aware of what's happening on Thursday through Friday and Monday, please come to the buildings because you're going to see a lot of good stuff. Fair? Okay. Questions for me? I'm ready for a routine. Did that just come out of everything I just said? Get into a routine, get kids back.
All right, next up, director reports. Questions, comments for the directors? I should have did this in principal once. I love the video of the elevator working. That's a great video. Best one I've seen in ages.
Wait until you get it right.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'll overload it. I'm not trying. Other questions? Anybody? Rec board report. Not here, so we're gonna go right on by. BOCES report.
I wasn't able to attend this time due to our board training.
BOCES report.
We had a meeting in Sheridan at the college, July 31st. We approved the 23-24 budget. Out of that budget, Sheridan College wound up with approximately $406,730. Sheridan School District number 1 was $96,992, and Johns County School District wound up with $206,767. And then Jen and a few of us took a little tour of Sheridan College campus and all the things they offer. And it was a great tour. If anybody hasn't been there, I'd encourage you to go. There's a lot of new things there, a lot of things I didn't know were there.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Questions or thoughts? Okay, next up, consent agenda. Sorry, Chuck, go ahead.
They did not.
They did not say. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion on consent agenda. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Other business from the board. None.
Well, I'd just like to say the training that you provided, Mr. Roski,
It
was very good.
Good training.
It was very good and well received, and having all the other school boards there. It was worth the time and effort. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
The collaboration was fun. Getting to see a couple of different perspectives was interesting.
Well, we had a lot of kink left over, but no ribs.
Couldn't hold anymore.
So, I mean, just to add to that, it was a great environment. We trained administrators and some other people that day. We brought some people in, so we didn't do 3 or 4 trainings that we brought everybody in. It was on the same page. I know it was long, but your commitment to come and see, even Sheridan College wasn't expecting to be trained. They were just expecting to come to dinner. And they came right in the middle of the training and they sat through it, right? And we ate and we did a great job. So with that being said, Travis, if it's okay, can I mention the next step?
Absolutely.
So I went to a Covey training. I had an opportunity to take Craig. Jake went for the second day, and this gentleman was he's been on school boards for 18 years and been the chairman out in Seattle of a large school district, probably with more students in the whole state of Wyoming, 56 different languages. He presents. He talks about leadership, and his main focus is leadership with boards, and it was a turnaround for me about how we as leaders need to take care of ourselves and how to be effective as leaders, especially as board of trustees. He's excited. He wants to come out in February, and Sheridan 1, 2, and 3, which again has always been a vision of mine that we do this with other boards. Sheridan 2's board chair and superintendent are on board. Sheridan 1 is on board. So we're looking to bring him out and split the cost for him to come out and do a leadership training for board of trustees because that is his area of expertise. And he's just not, he's good. He's good at what he does. And that's what he does all over the nation to support boards and grow boards and to be effective, which then results in better things happening in your district. So, and I shouldn't just say boards, it's superintendents too. So that's the kind of training that I'd like to bring back. Okay. We don't go to Seattle, he comes to us.
That's better.
Usually they don't want to come to Wyoming
In February, that's good.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
One of the favorite things about that I appreciated about the training, well, I loved it all, but one of the things that I really liked to focus on was I've gone to the WSBA conference every year in November, and while the last day is the funnest there, you get lots of entertainment and it's a legal update, and unfortunately, they don't get to spend a lot of time, and so this, I believe it was a 7-hour training that we went to, and we got a lot of really good legal update, and that is really important because we as boards, I mean, we hold liable in our hands, and so I think it's really important that we direct our administration to be sure and make sure that we're doing everything legal. That's a really important piece. And so, from my personal perspective, I really appreciated the legal update. It was nice to have our Bridget was there along with the state WSBA guy. So thank you for that. I appreciated that a lot. Got a little more one-on-one than what we usually get at the state conference.
Yeah.
So that was.
And Lynette, it was specific to us. It was specific to our boards and what's happening in our region. I think there were some really great questions, concerns, and there was some gray area, all right? He was flat out said, there's gray area, we don't know. But what we do know is we don't want to be case law, right? So we better follow this protocol so we don't become case law. So there were some good things with that. And you know what? Bridget wasn't scheduled to be there the whole time, and she found it was important, so she canceled out of her family obligations and stayed the whole training. So a lot of people are committed to this district, and I think that's the most exciting thing. And you guys built relationships with people because I've seen you asking questions. Well, that's not how we do it. Well, this is how we do it. So everybody does something a little bit different. Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
I think I learn more when we get to collaborate with other districts. I mean, whether it's over a shared meal or icebreaker activities or whatever, it's easy to get bogged down and think that the things that we're struggling with, that we're the only ones. And you hear, no, it's universal, or the things that we're doing well. It's pretty great to hear that we do have some successes and we have lots of resources all around us to ask questions of, and I always appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be quick. They had a joint fuels board meeting, which I was not able to attend. My granddaughter turned 6, and I thought that was more important. But we had lots of representation. The winning bid came from Homax. Unleaded gas is $2 and 90 cents a gallon. Number 2, diesel, which we probably burn the most of, is $2.71.5. So that's an update on that. And Bill and Charles, thanks for attending the meeting, and Connie.
Yeah, Connie and Leslie did a lot of the work and Bill ran the meeting, so kudos to them.
Perfect.
But it was a well-run meeting, so.
And if anybody doesn't know, we have Fuel Depot. Sits down on the corner. We're in at the city landfill, help me out here, Bill, the highway department, the city. Yes, city's in it. So we have numerous different entities that all purchase fuel, and we get it for a cheaper price. So, yeah.
Other things from the board. All right, September work session, September 4th, 5:45 in KC. Couple of thoughts. We've called this a work session for a long time, but as we learned in our training, this is a special meeting of the board, whether we call it a work session or not. So moving forward, how do you guys want to title this? Continue holding the work session knowing it's a special meeting, or do you want to call it that?
As I recall from being at that training, they said to call it a special meeting, is what I heard.
That's what I heard. So, everybody good with this? We will from henceforth call these the special meeting.
So we will be able to vote in these meetings, is that, because we've never,
If it's on the agenda.
If it's on the agenda.
okay, we have to follow the agenda, okay.
So that's why it's gonna be critical, you as a board, let Travis know, so as we set this agenda, the agenda is set and that's what we stick to.
If we have things that we're gonna go after, we gotta get out there and publish it.
And Travis, I believe, if I remember reading right, a special meeting can only have 3 topics. Is that correct, Charles? We may want to review that.
Yeah,
We haven't,
sure.
I think there's only 3 topics. Okay, so your meeting is going to be the 9th of September. Where's it at?
Next meeting, yeah, KC, 6 p.m.
So both of them are in KC, the work session and the meeting.
Check.
Can I go back to a minute?
Yes, please.
I would hope, though, that we would keep, since we've always called it a work session, we'd be breaking with, I don't know, tradition or what,
Tradition.
that we would keep voting at an absolute
Agreed.
minute.
There's
That it would
not
have to be
something odd.
something very important we had to get done then, but other than that, I really feel like we should not be voting on issues that we can avoid.
Concur. Okay, so come prepared for the special meeting, everybody. Let's go over, one of the topics should be cell phone use by the board. As we're having our meetings and we're calling in or doing different things, everybody think a little bit on how we want to handle and set our example of what we do with cell phones here at the board. We'll have that for one of the things to talk about. You send me other ideas, I will fill in.
Can you explain that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so just general reflection on cell phone use among the board. Say I'm down in Rock Springs on a job and I'm going to call into the meeting. What are our protocols and how do we handle that?
Oh, so calling in, not sitting here looking at.
Oh, that's a fair topic as well.
Okay.
Let's talk about that too.
Okay.
But, yeah, so
Thank you for clarifying.
think on that, everybody, and we'll kind of use that as a Kickstarter. Then everybody send ideas or whatever. Charles, please.
I think we need to talk about all technologies, so if you're zooming in, you're calling in on a phone, so just not limit to.
Fair point.
So we need to have a conversation about how we're gonna approach all of it.
How we handle it as a can. Good call. Not just cell phones, all the tech. Okay. Anybody has anything else? Last call?
Welcome again.
Yes, thank you.
How long, you're gonna be in KC next month? All right.
Yeah. So Benito, before you leave, we'll try to find a date that maybe we can just onboard a little bit and maybe answer any questions, if that's okay.
There's a couple of them. Yeah.
We'll schedule 30 minutes.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
We didn't meet at Jody, but we're close.
Where?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck.
So Travis, so kudos to the board. I mean, you did a lot of question answering.